Okay, welcome to Chapter 3, Boomer Builds a Business, where I'm going to take a startup from zero valuation to $1 billion in 1 year. And I hope you guys come along for the ride. Hi, I'm Rob, and a few musings. I don't want this just to be about my business. I want to encourage everybody out there to start something on their own business, product, service, philanthropy, adventure. And I think some of the same tools that I'm going to use or am using to expedite this process can be used in probably just about any of those processes also. And I'm going to say the main one now is AI. And if you're not using AI, you've got to spend a little time and figure this out. First step is just figure out how to access one of the chatbots, or LLMs, large language models, as they like to call them. And the best known, the Coca-Cola of the chatbot world right now is ChatGPT. So I would probably just start with that. Google it. Do a Google search, find it, get it up, and just access. You can access the free version, and ask it to teach you about LLMs. You can query these things and use natural language. You just talk like you normally do. You'll be shocked at how it can interpret what you're saying. And don't even worry about punctuation. I still do. But a software developer friend of mine, these guys type so much through their lives that if they can get away with it, they don't use punctuation. He just rambles, and now he's just using voice to text too. So he just rambles on his queries, and I'll be sitting there with him, and I'm thinking, this chatbot, no way is going to understand him, and it does. Trust me, it's like magic. So start there. Google ChatGPT, get it up on your computer or your phone. They've got apps. If you're a phone native person, then just do it there. Always accessible and easy that way. So get it up and then ask it to teach a novice about LLM chatbots, and it'll give you a great summary. And if you want to, it can give you a kind of a loose course. It can give you so many things. So start there, but learn AI, learn these chatbots, because they're powerful now and they're just going to get more powerful. And they will be the main tool, I believe, that I'm going to use and probably you will use in the future too. There's these guys that are leading the charge, like Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, which is the developer of ChatGPT. He makes statements that if you're not learning AI, you're falling behind. On the other hand, if you are learning it, you've got a huge advantage over other people. He's also been hinting around about the power of the new versions that they're coming out with. Personally, I think ChatGPT 5 is around the corner. He did say probably this summer. I've heard other little rumors of it coming in July, so I'm going to kind of go with that time frame. The other leap of faith, or the other conclusion that I'm making, is that since they have digressed in some of these additional versions, they've backtracked on their nomenclature, 3.0, and they'll be more powerful than the most current one, or you would think the most current one. It's actually not, 4.0. So the reason they gave for doing that is they just ChatGPT 5 wasn't up to their standards. So if they do release it soon, which I think they are, I just think it's going to be a quantum leap, and I think we're going to all be shocked at what it can do. So get familiar with these things now, and when ChatGPT 5 comes along, you're going to feel so empowered on your journey, your personal journey. And of course, I'm going to be trying to use it, and I'll talk a little bit about it. I really don't want this to be a technical YouTube channel, because there's plenty of them. That's another way. Great resource. Get on YouTube and follow some of these YouTubers that are talking about these things. There's also plenty of YouTubers to talk about how to do YouTube content. Now, I have listened to a lot of them, and a lot of great advice there. So if you decide to go down this path that I'm going down, there's a fork in the road. I think you can actually make a business out of a YouTube channel. To me, it looks like there's three major categories. One, education. If you're really good at a particular skill, and be it a physical skill or you're just a great teacher about a subject, you can start a YouTube channel and start recording episodes where you step people through those processes, whether it's some kind of building mechanical process or strictly an educational process. So education is a major category. Another one is say like current news. If you just want to become like the local broadcaster of news in your area, or spread it out. You can be the one that digests news from a lot of different sources, and then you can repeat it on your channel. So so you've got education, you've got current news, and then a third category is, I guess, basically like entertainment, and that's probably what the category that this will fall into. I'm going to educate, hopefully, a little bit along the way, the viewers, but that's not my main goal. My main goal is really probably entertainment, and just by default, encourage you to set out on your own adventure and do something fun, do something exciting later in life. So here we go. I'm going to always try to give us current status of the business that I'm building, which if you followed any of the other two YouTube releases, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, it's called StretchStride. It's a new paradigm of athletic training that, with one training session, immediately impacts athleticism. I mean, can increase vertical jump up to 5 inches or more. You might as well throw that equation into the broad jumping, maybe even more. And then it also impacts speed and quickness. So pretty much just lower body movement. It gives you that first quick step. So thus, it impacts just about any sport. I used to have a saying that I said, I think I can help any athlete in just about any sport other than ping pong, and I'm not sure I can't help you in ping pong. And that's because that first step can be important in ping pong. It can be important in boxing. It can be important in batting. That first step, you just got this looseness in the hips that you do not have before you do my routine. And now, why is that? Well, for one, I haven't really talked a whole lot about the routine itself, and I'll get into that more later. I'm going to just tease you now. But the routine primarily, I believe, loosens up the hip flexors. I have a scientific experiment. It is scientifically proven to do these things. But the experiment was cause and effect, not what it changes structurally or internally inside of the human body, which is so complex. If you've Googled any anatomy of muscles and ligaments and fascia and tendons and bones, and oh my gosh, it's a complex. The human body is so complex. From the waist down, it's crazy how many muscles there are, how the tendons are connected, and then there's this fascia that covers all of that. And I think, that my best guess is that I am loosening up primarily probably the hip flexors, but all of it. It's all playing a part in the way my routine impacts those. I think it just is doing things that none of the other routines have done in the past. So it's something special for sure. It's novel. It's a new paradigm of training, which we haven't really seen any new paradigms of training since the Russians introduced what we call plyometrics. And that, I think, was going into the 60s Olympics or 70s Olympics. There's really not been a new paradigm. Everything that they introduce is just kind of a take on existing methods. And usually it's a device or a program that, somebody's trying to sell you, hey, I'm going to try to sell my ebook about how to do my routine. So I don't want to make these people sound greedy, but the device manufacturers for sure are acting like they have something novel, and most of it's not. It's things that we've done: resistance training, standard type of movements, and just not really been anything new, in my opinion, since the Russians introduced plyometrics and primarily what they call the depth jump. So here we go. StretchStride still zero revenue, so obviously zero value. But I haven't really got that channel going yet. So that's really really impossible to generate any revenue at this point. But I'm gonna get that going soon. And as soon as I hopefully get some sales on my ebook, I will let you guys know that I got a little bit of revenue. Now, is that how I'm going to get to $1 billion? The ebook? No way. The ebook, that whole channel, and even this channel are really primarily there to bring awareness. So you know how they say, I had a client back in another life when I was actually a stockbroker. Back in the old day, people had to come into the office to watch the ticker symbol still. And there was an older gentleman named Jerry Lambiot. He was a retired salesman. And he taught me, I was a young man, and he taught me an important lecture. I had graduated with an engineering degree, so I was kind of the antithesis of a salesman. But he taught me a valuable lesson, and that is nothing happens until a salesman sells it. In other words, you can have the best device, gadget, program, whatever it is, but until somebody sells it, maybe yourself, but until somebody sells that, it's like the proverbial tree that falls in the forest. If there's no one there to hear it, there's no sound. Well, if there's nobody there, somebody else, to sell that product, that service, that gadget, then it's almost like it doesn't exist. So that's where I've been for 10 years with StretchStride. And so I'm going to change that. So all of these ideas, these channels are marketing channels, and let's not dismiss the importance of marketing. Well, nothing happens until the salesman sells it, either yourself or someone else, or a platform, But that's still you taking the time and effort to put something on maybe a digital platform. So there you go. Yeah, this journey is going to, I think it's going to be fun, and I hope it's interesting enough to get a bunch of you guys watching and sharing, and so now I did say in the last video I was going to bring up my visit to the Miami Heat. That's a few years back. LeBron James was still there. They were back-to-back NBA world champions, and but I'm in the car. I was going to do that from my desktop because I want to share some photos I've got of me and a young man that I had trained personally. I took him from a 37-inch to a 41-inch vertical jump, and he was in his mid-20s. He wasn't playing college ball. He was going to play they were going to start up a semi-pro team in Fort Smith, but that fell apart, and he was going to play for them. And so he was good. He could have maybe gone college, but he just didn't have the support system to do that. But he had a great vertical. He could dunk already. But I took him from 37 to 41 inches, and to reward him for doing, listening to me, believing in me, doing the routine, I took him with me to the Miami Heat, and he was a little starstruck. We were in American Airlines Arena at the time. I think it's got a new name now, but they're right there on Key Biscayne Bay, and on a Friday afternoon or Friday noon, and off season, met their strength conditioning coach Bill Ferran, in the weight room, and I think Coach Ferran thought it was going to be a little quieter since it's off season, Friday noonish. But they had just signed Greg Ferran, a big 7-foot center that had been on injured reserve, I guess, for 2 or 3 years. And so they were all excited about trying to rehab him. So they actually were, Coach Spolstra was there. Greg Ferran's agent, Mike Conley Sr., was there. We were all in the weight room. And I walk in with me, and then my trainee from Fort Smith, Arkansas, his nickname is Butta. So me and Butta walk in with my big mat, my MVP, my minimum viable product, and I had to do this routine. And Coach Ferran kind of gets these big eyes like, oh man, I didn't think all these people were going to be there. I mean, super nice man. And we got introduced to him, but he shuffled us up to their practice court pretty quick. And but we got to look around, and we saw all these high-profile people in the weight room. Didn't really get to visit with them, but went up to the practice court, got set up. I'll just jump ahead and let you know, let the cat out of the bag. I did not get to train LeBron James, but I did get to train James Jones. He was an older veteran, a good friend of LeBron's, and secretary of the Players Association at the time. And so that's who Coach Ferran promised me he'd get me a player. Then I also got his son, Eric Ferran, and those were the two people I was going to get to train. So, but anyway, I don't want this to drag on too much. Just giving you guys some tidbits as I go about the business I'm going to build. I'm going to build it to $1 billion, hopefully within 1 year. That's my goal. So again, come along for the ride. My name is Rob Skolman. I always forget to do that at the beginning. And next episode, I will have some cool photos of, heck, I got a photo of LeBron's locker and some of the inside of the arena. And then I've got another fun little story about that adventure too. I'll tell you about meeting Coach Pat Riley. And that's it for now. And look forward to seeing you guys in Chapter 4. Bye now.